The Industrial Revolution was a transition to new manufacturing processes in Europe and the US. This transition included going from hand production methods to machines. Even though the Industrial Revolution allowed for the manufacturing of products to be faster and cheaper, this wasn't always looked at as a positive thing. People saw these mass-produced products as dishonest work that lacked the standards that handcrafted products had. Theories and ideas that inspired the arts and crafts movement began in Britain and flourished in Europe and America between 1880 and 1920. It stood for traditional craftsmanship using traditional methods. It advocated economic and social reform. The arts and crafts movement was supported and helped by a number of strong-willed theorists and practitioners. The architect and theorist August Pung, in his books like Contrast and the True Principles of Pointed or Christian Architecture, provided the foundation from which the moral aesthetics of the arts and crafts evolved. Pungen advocated truth to material, structure, and function. He said that there should be no features about a building which are not necessary for convenience, construction, or propriety. He also had three rules for architecture: structural honesty, regionality in design, and the use of regional materials or character, all of which were to be taken up and used in new ways by arts and crafts architects. Pungen's dream of reuniting designer and craftsman was taken up by Ruskin. John Ruskin was the leading English art critic of the Victorian era who emphasized the beauty of architectural ornament carved by hand, which he said reflected the sense of human labor and care spent upon it. Ruskin pleaded for unique artistic creations. In these handcrafted creations, Ruskin demanded for designs which use natural scale, form, and materials to express man's delight in God's work. So he advised artists and designers to turn to nature for inspiration and instruction. William Morris's designs, with his plant and later his bird detailing, were a response to Ruskin, but were also, in their flatness, a part of a new design movement. Morris was a British designer, writer, and social activist. Morris believed that an architect should not only be a builder but also a painter, a blacksmith, and a designer of stained glass. Morris was influenced by traditional designs, and new theories about design. Morris was the founder of Morris and Company, where he experimented with various crafts and designing furniture and interiors. His methods and materials were a mix of traditional and new ideas, and he was personally involved in the manufacturing as well as the design, which was a hallmark for the arts and crafts movement. Morris did this because he insisted that no work should be carried out in his workshop before he personally mastered the appropriate techniques and materials. The arts and crafts movement wasn't about rejecting the use of machinery. Ashby said, "We do not reject the machine, but we welcome it, but we would desire to see it mastered." But the extent to which every design should be carried out by the designer was a matter for debate and disagreement. Most designers were influenced by the theories of other designers during this movement, and this became an important aspect to designers. They needed to be aware of what other designers were doing, and they also had to be aware of the cultural context they were designing in, to be aware of traditional designs and what was being designed now. Even though designers of this movement were encouraged to reflect on traditional designs, they were also encouraged to create their own unique designs. The arts and crafts movement was really about taking traditional crafting and design methods and making or designing something new and unique. A prime example of this in architecture is Shaw's Leawood's house. Shaw removed the preconception that country house architecture must be a revivalist style. He developed a visual vocabulary that depended on combinations of half-timbered or tile-hung upper floors with local stone or brick lower floors, and the use of mullioned windows. His deliberately asymmetrical Old English buildings gave the impression of gradual evolution. Shaw invented a bold language of his own, which he used in Leeswood's house. For 20 years, Shaw's Old English satisfied country clients with its assurance of impressive effect, comfort, and building craft.